Ukraine's forces are giving the Russian military major headaches. Over 2 years of conflict have seen Ukraine receive roughly 700 tanks from its allies. A shocking dawn on August 6, 2024, witnessed the tranquil Russian border erupt into chaos. From the morning mist emerged Ukraine's formidable super tanks. The Russians were bracing for the familiar, older T-64s, T-72s, and T-80s. But what rolled out was an entirely different beast, a far more terrifying sight. Secretly upgraded, these machines boasted enhanced speed, superior strength, and unmatched lethality on the battlefield. For the Russian army, it marked a moment of profound shock and the dawn of a nightmare. This isn't merely a tale of metal and machinery. It's a gripping narrative of surprise, cunning strategy, and absolute battlefield domination. And what fresh horrors await. The saga only intensifies. Our journey begins with Ukraine's battlefield titan, the T-64. First forged in the Soviet Union in 1964, this tank was compact at 38 tons and manned by just 3 soldiers. While this might seem standard today, it was revolutionary then. Its 125mm cannon could unleash both shells and missiles, thanks to its groundbreaking auto-loader. This innovation meant a smaller crew and quicker reloading times compared to its peers. Yet, there was a perilous catch. The auto-loader was prone to glitches, sometimes even injuring inexperienced gunners inside. Imagine that. The T-64 was a complex, costly marvel with only about 13,000 ever produced. Following the Soviet Union's dissolution in 1991, Ukraine inherited the majority of these T-64s, alongside hundreds of T-72s and a handful of T-80s, forming the backbone of its armored divisions. Initially, they were just aging relics in storage. But Ukraine orchestrated a phenomenal transformation. They boosted these tanks with upgraded engines, reinforced armor, and cutting-edge reactive defenses designed to detonate outwards, neutralizing incoming missiles. Among these enhancements was the T-64BM Bulat. This variant was equipped with a powerful new 850 horsepower engine, making it surprisingly agile despite its heavier armor. Its cannon could strike targets up to 2 500 meters away by day and 1 500 meters at night. And yes, it even sported a top-mounted machine gun to fend off infantry and low-flying drones. Incredibly, despite the T-64's age, these modifications rendered it a formidable adversary against Russia's contemporary tanks. The Russians, expecting an easy sweep against outdated Ukrainian armor, found themselves blindsided as the T-64BMs relentlessly picked them off. Picture confronting a tank you dismissed as obsolete, only to discover it now boasts explosive reactive armor and devastating firepower. A truly shocking revelation for the enemy. Next, we delve into the T-72. Ukraine didn't just maintain these tanks, they actively sought assistance from NATO allies. The US and Netherlands funded the Czech Republic to modernize 90 T-72s, outfitting them with advanced optics, improved communications, and tougher armor. Pentagon officials even lauded them as the most technologically advanced tanks on the front lines. These upgrades were a complete surprise to the Russians. Suddenly, Ukraine's tanks could see further, strike harder, and withstand more punishment. The T-80, another Soviet-era design, also underwent significant upgrades. Its original gas turbine engine, while potent, was notoriously fuel-hungry. Ukraine kept a smaller fleet of T-80s but enhanced them with superior armor and fire control systems. The T-80B and T-80BV models gained the ability to launch guided missiles from their main guns, a capability the Russians certainly didn't expect them to wield so effectively. These enhancements empowered Ukrainian tanks to execute ambushes on Russian convoys, strike from afar, and vanish before enemy artillery could retaliate. Now, let's talk about the sheer intensity of ambushes. Ukrainian forces have masterfully exploited terrain, utilized drones, and implemented clever strategies to forge lethal kill zones. In certain sectors, just 2 small drone teams can effectively patrol and control an entire stretch of the front line. They pinpoint Russian tanks from miles away, guiding Ukrainian armor in for decisive strikes before the Russians even comprehend what hit them. Imagine the terror. You're in a tank, feeling secure, then suddenly, an unseen attack from an unexpected angle. Russian reports confirm that in some areas, their tanks are annihilated by Ukrainian drones and armor long before they even reach the front lines. This isn't a video game. This is the chilling reality of modern warfare, and the longest recorded tank kill in Ukraine. Achieved by a Challenger 2, it obliterated a Russian tank from an unprecedented distance. The Russian crews were caught entirely off guard, unaware of the impending attack until it was too late. It's not just about the tanks themselves. It's about Ukraine's ingenious fusion of advanced technology with classic hardware, creating a force that is devastatingly effective. Ukraine's innovation didn't stop there. They also began integrating Western tanks into their arsenal. Germany supplied Leopard 2, and the UK provided Challenger 2s. These colossal, swift machines are armed with 120 mm guns, capable of decimating Russian armor in mere seconds. Ukrainian crews received rigorous training in Germany and Britain, then immediately deployed these formidable tanks to the front lines. The Russians were utterly bewildered. They were ready for Soviet-era tanks, not for Leopards and Challengers, equipped with modern optics, advanced fire control, and armor that could effortlessly deflect their missiles. Yet, here's a critical nuance. Even with these state-of-the-art Western tanks, Ukraine has employed them with calculated precision, not reckless abandon. Soldiers skillfully integrate them with drones for target acquisition, leverage terrain for concealment, and synchronize attacks with artillery. In urban battlegrounds like Bakhmut and Kharkiv, these tanks have expertly navigated narrow streets, catching Russian forces who expected unchallenged armored superiority completely off guard. A single Ukrainian tank and its crew can, at times, neutralize multiple Russian vehicles in a single encounter. This is a testament to how exceptional skill multiplies a tank's inherent power. Furthermore, Ukrainian crews have displayed remarkable resourcefulness in the field. Some tanks feature improvised cage armor, additional sensors, and even custom-mounted machine guns. These modifications bolster the tank's resilience and lethality. The Russians are trapped in a nightmare scenario, their familiar tanks transformed into unpredictable, deadly adversaries with unknown capabilities. The psychological impact is equally profound. For over 2 years, Russian troops consistently underestimated Ukrainian tanks, viewing old T-64s or refurbished T-72s as easy pickings. But then came the devastating ambushes, the pinpoint long-range strikes, and the brutal urban skirmishes. Fear quickly grips soldiers when they realize their enemy's tanks are not only upgraded and better armed, but also smarter in their battlefield tactics. This fear alone has significantly hampered Russian offensives, often forcing them to fight from defensive positions, thus forfeiting their mobility advantage. So, how have Ukrainian tanks continued to endure and fight effectively, even when outnumbered? The answer lies in a powerful synergy of upgrades, drone intelligence, intimate knowledge of the terrain, and superior tactical execution. It's a perfect storm of technology, training, and raw skill. Drones, in particular, play an indispensable role. Ukraine's drones have been engineered to withstand electronic warfare, rendering them impervious to jamming. They can conduct reconnaissance, designate targets, and even orchestrate real-time coordinated attacks with tanks. In stark contrast, Russian forces have struggled with drones that are often shoddily built or easily jammed. This allows Ukrainian tanks to move with relative impunity near the front lines, as their skies are constantly patrolled by vigilant drones. It's akin to having eyes everywhere. This modern battlefield synergy is fundamentally reshaping armored warfare. In certain regions, Ukrainian tanks have even achieved localized superiority over the Russians for the first time since the war began. This isn't due to overwhelming numbers, but rather to their intelligent application of technology, exploiting Russian vulnerabilities that were never anticipated. Even small tank detachments, bolstered by drones, possess the capability to decimate entire enemy columns. The battlefield is no longer solely a numbers game. It's about who acquires the target first, who delivers the decisive blow, and ultimately, who survives. Urban combat presents another shocking reality. Russian troops typically anticipate that heavy tanks will struggle in city environments. However, Ukrainian tanks, including the T-64BM Bulat and Western Leopard models, have skillfully navigated tight urban streets, accurately firing their main guns while providing crucial infantry support. Amidst the smoke, rubble, and gunfire, these tanks press on, maintaining their relentless advance. The sights, sounds, and smells of urban warfare are overwhelming. Tracer rounds streak through the air. Shells explode with deafening force, and soldiers' shouts echo from every direction. Ukrainian crews have learned to master this chaotic environment, ensuring their tanks remain operational. And there's more. Some Ukrainian tanks have audaciously engaged entire Russian defensive lines single-handedly, destroying multiple enemy vehicles and breaching fortified positions. This potent blend of upgrades, highly skilled crews, and adaptive modern tactics creates a formidable force multiplier. A single Ukrainian tank can instantly become a terrifying menace for an entire Russian unit. Finally, let's consider the future, a crucial element. Ukraine now possesses Leopard 2s, Challenger TIS, and even Abrams tanks. These machines are faster, more powerful, and boast superior armor compared to almost anything Russia can field. However, Ukraine is acutely aware of its limited quantities. The current strategy revolves around precise deployment, utilizing these tanks where they can inflict maximum impact, providing vital infantry support, and continuously leveraging drones and electronic warfare to maintain their technological edge. The Russians confront a battlefield rife with unforeseen challenges, where outdated tactics are no longer viable. The war is far from over, and the Russians remain ignorant of Ukraine's next strategic moves. Further upgrades, ingenious tactics, and audacious maneuvers are on the horizon. Could Ukraine's tanks press even deeper, severing Russian supply lines and irrevocably altering the war's trajectory? Only time will tell, but one thing is unequivocally clear. Ukraine's deadly super tanks have already delivered a profound shock to the Russians, and this story is nowhere near its conclusion.